I'm Sean, the Carnivore Trucker. This here is my special guest, Greg McNair, the RV Carnivore. Uh,
Yes, sir.
Greg, thanks for taking time out of your day. You know, hanging out with Dr. Baker and Dr. Oz to come hang out with me.
Oh man, no, we all put our
So,
pants on one leg at a time.
well, I'll let you get started. Tell your story, who you are, what you do, uh,
Okay.
why you're living in an RV, all that fun stuff.
Yeah. So I live in a 43-foot long fifth wheel. I travel the country, and I've been in this fifth wheel since April of 2021. And we came off the road in June of 2022. Diesel hit $8 a gallon. You being a trucker understand what that pain feels like. And
Hmm.
instantly, it costs more than $1 a gallon just for fuel. And or $1 a mile just for fuel. So I told my wife we're done traveling for a bit until things calm down. They never calmed down um, to the point that she said, I'm just going to go get into sticks and bricks. So we're currently in the process of closing on a new home for her. She's been living in an apartment for a year. And during that year, I have been staying in this RV and I decided that yeah, I guess it was August of 2022. We went to the Keto Summit in Orlando. I got to meet one of my doctor heroes, Ken Berry. And hi, Dr. Berry. If you happen to see this, I hope you get to see this. Um, Went and met with him. And while I was sitting in the audience, I got a chance to meet a few other of my heroes that I guess to some people they wouldn't really be a hero, but Dave Feldman talking about the cholesterol world, which was amazing. And I had this weird idea that maybe I needed to decorate the RV to look like the butcher map on a cow. And I guess by the end of the weekend, I had sat down with Photoshop and I made it look like I wanted it to look and said that's going to work. Then by, I guess it was early November when I had departed Texas, I had been out there for a couple of months visiting my daughter. And just before I departed, a company out there cut all the letters. And I don't know if you have a chance to show these photos. I don't know if I can, but um, I went home with this stack about that deep of vinyl cut letters that literally covered my queen size bed. And it took me about the better part of a month and a half to prep the rig, peel all the decals off of it, put these new decals on it. And after I did that, I turned to my wife and said, well, I am now going to call myself the RV Carnivore. And she thought I was crazy, but that's okay. I'm happy being me. And I decided it was important to take to the road and communicate to others how important this is. And realize that I've got a really big audience just in these guys who drive trucks. And that does not exclude women because there are women out here who drive them as well. And
Hmm.
truck driving is a profession. It is a career for most people, and it's not an easy buck. And when you're on the road, you sit behind the wheel of a vehicle for a long time, and it's easy to eat. And it's really easy to eat the junk foods, and you don't realize the junk
Yep.
foods. And they even try to push bananas at Love's Truck Stop, and yogurt, and parfaits, and smoothies, and it's all loaded with sugar and seed oils.
Yeah.
And I thought, I need to get a hold of some truckers. So at the very top of the rig in the back, I'm going to put up something just for truckers because they need to know this. I mean, y'all are the lifeblood of a successful capitalist country, right?
Yeah. Like I say this on my channel a lot is truck drivers keep America healthy, but we don't care about our own health. And yeah, there's all
That's
this junk, all this junk here at the truck stops, man. Like my first couple of videos were on how you can eat carnivore at the truck stops, and like I would pull up like the ingredients list of the sausages on the rolls at the you know, and like I'd even pull up like the pork rinds brands and like if they were cooked in vegetable oils or not, that sort of thing. But I should really re-upload one of those videos because they didn't hardly get any views. But yeah,
yes, yes, you should. Well,
But yeah,
my
I thought
goal
you're.
is to get yeah, my goal is to get
Oh no, go
truckers.
ahead.
I'm going to fix my fan here because I'm getting a little warm. Sorry. My goal is to get
Hmm.
truckers of all people because it's a complacent lifestyle. Um,
Hmm.
I wanted truckers to realize the value of eating like this and
Yes.
keep them healthy because there's one thing I learned. I got severely injured. I had a gastric tear in one of my leg muscles. Basically, that
Mm.
sidelined me. I was a runner for, I ran 25 miles a week. It was my high. I loved it. The runner's high is a very real thing. And pardon me. And so I had injured myself. I was out of the circuit for 8 months and I gained weight. And that's when I started doing the carnivore lifestyle. And my mother in law lost 110 pounds in 3 months. And I thought, well, my gosh, if she can do that, I can do that because she wasn't exercising at all. And I couldn't exercise at all. I mean, I could do upper body, but I couldn't dare move my leg because if I did, I would risk probably a permanent lifelong injury and never run ever again. So
Yeah.
that's why I did the carnivore lifestyle, and it worked. And 2.5 months into it, I had what we thought was a head cold, and I went to a doc in the box. They gave me methylprednisolone steroid. I took it. 15 hours later, I was face down on the ground in my kitchen. My wife heard that sound and rushed me to the hospital. And they found out that I had a brainstem stroke. And the doctor insisted that it was because I was eating meat that I had my stroke.
Hmm.
And it was from that
Wow.
bed, the day after the stroke, I texted Dr. Baker and I said, what I said, I texted him, I sent him a direct message thinking that would never get through.
Hmm.
And I sent one to Paul Saladino. I'm not sure if I sent one to Ken Berry, but I sent these messages, and Dr. Baker wrote back and said, I'd never met anybody with a brainstem stroke. So probably because you're a carnivore and no sugar in your diet, that saved your life. So, pardon me, 3 months after that, my mother passed away, and I went into a pretty severe depression. Not ashamed to admit that at all. It's just, it is what it is. And so I had this depression
Hmm.
for a pretty good while. And I started drinking a lot of
Yeah.
alcohol with my stepfather because I reminded him of my mom. And bourbon became our thing. And pretty soon, what used to be the Wendy's 2 or 3 cheeseburger patties turned into the entire cheeseburger with the lettuce, the tomato, the toppings, the bun. That turned into the full meal because, I mean, why not? Then it was the frosty to go with it. And before you know it, I was back up to where I started. And I felt so horrible. And I told my wife, we get an RV, we travel the country. We either live in a van down by the river or I go the way of Chris Farley. Well, so that turned into day drinking, which was not good. Um, COVID hit. Everybody was on the road. Everybody was hanging out in campgrounds for 2, 3 weeks at a time. We were making great friends, and they would show up at the doorstep, bottle of Tito's in one hand, bottle of Zing Zang in the other, and 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning, Bloody Marys. That started the day. Noon, 1 o'clock, beer drinking in the pool. 5, 6 o'clock, beer drinking, vodka drinking, bourbon drinking, margaritas. People had those really cool margarita machines that had a motorcycle twist grip. And it was, I mean, every day was Saturday except one day, and that was Sunday. And so I was destroying my health every day, traveling the country. And it was just unhealthy for me. So I told my wife back in that August moment, I said, it's time for me to take control of myself again. So that's how this was born. And the truth is, the RV, Brisket is my accountability partner. Because let's be honest, I can't step out of that. You can't step out of your truck, and I can't step out of the door of this RV and be obese and overweight and try to proclaim that eating carnivore style is the best life ever, right? I mean, we'd
Yeah.
be seen as a fraud. Now I'm still heavy. People see me and they're like, "Oh yeah, right, whatever." Well, then I show them my photograph and say, "Well, that was me 4 months ago." And they go, "No way! All you eat steak?" That's right. You've never heard that
Yeah.
before, have you?
Yeah. Yeah. I have that too. Like my before picture of me in January 1st. I was, I think, 40 pounds ago. I have that as my phone screen. So that's a lot of uh, weight loss motivation right there. Um,
Absolutely.
Also, man, I lost my mom back in 2020 and
I'm sorry.
to cancer. Thank you.
That's how I lost
The
mine.
cancer. Yeah, it was stage
Sorry.
4 before they even found it. And but yeah, and I wasn't doing carnivore at that time. I really wish I knew about carnivore a long time ago, because could have gotten my mom on it. She might still be around. You never know.
Yep.
But anyway, yeah, I had much the same experience as you did. I fell off the wagon, or well, whatever wagon I was on, I fell off of it. Man, it was a good 2 months of just being drunk almost every day, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And that's when, because I had quit my job trucking, because I was still trucking back then. I'd quit my
Okay.
job when I found out that she had cancer, and I came home and took care of her. And man, 2 months later, 3 months after she found out, got her diagnosis, she was gone.
It's tough.
But yeah, it's tough. It sucks. But so yeah, I know the pain.
Yeah,
Um, One question is, so you were on carnivore when you had your stroke, right?
that's correct.
Okay. What would you say to the people, critics, who would say that you got the stroke because of the carnivore diet?
Um, I say to them, the reason why I survived that stroke is because of God. He had a reason for me to be here. And I tell them that what I was told by doctors in the know, that had I been on the standard Western diet, because we can't just say
Mhm.
standard American anymore, not if McDonald's and Wendy's are in China, right? So the standard
Yeah.
Western diet, um, had I continued in that lifestyle, I would have died of the stroke, because the stroke that I had is the fatal stroke. It's one that people do not survive. If
Yeah.
you survive, it's usually about 24 hours. And the reason why is because 23 hours, the family's fighting over who's going to unplug the person from the wall, because your brain's
Yeah.
dead instantly. And so for me, I, it's a lot easier for me to say to somebody who makes the comment, well, he said, I listened to that video from Dr. Such and such, and he thinks. And I say, I am. I am here because of a lifestyle that I had adopted that got my blood sugar
Mhm.
down to an average of 74 every day. I tested my blood sugar 3 times a day. I would skip beyond the morning test. I would test at noon. I would test again at 5 o'clock, and then I would test again at 10 o'clock before bed. And I would average my blood sugar that way. 74 was my average. The typical American walking around right now has blood sugar well over 100. Diabetics are in the
Oh yeah.
140s and up. And I was told by several doctors, we've never met a brainstem stroke survivor. So I absolutely attribute this to God first, and then second to the fact that it was my diet. Now I'm going to say this.
Mhm.
I will say it was my lifestyle, because God is who led me to that point. I wouldn't have known about this had it not been for the intervention of my leg being injured. Nothing comes by chance. My leg got injured. I couldn't perform the way I used to. My mother-in-law starts this program, tells me about it. I do it. I realize great health from it, had my stroke. Now, the stroke came 15 hours after taking a steroid for the sinus infection. That should be a warning to
Oh.
everybody out there. If you read the labels, how many of us see that fine print and don't touch it? You hear the ads on TV, blah, 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 they talk really fast. And then there's this column that takes up the entire bottom of the screen that reads, may cause XXXXX, right? Well, if that could happen, it could happen to us. My wife handed me the box of methylprednisolone, and at the bottom, it reads, may cause strokes in patients with high blood pressure, 50% greater chance. 50% greater chance, and I had 150 over 95. I didn't think that was high blood
Wow.
pressure. My doctor who prescribed the medication didn't think that was high blood pressure, but yet put the two things together, and there I was on the ground, surviving it. So there's
Yeah.
that. So I attribute it to
Wow.
anybody who says, "Oh, well, it was your lifestyle that did it to you." They're wrong. The lifestyles would save me. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here talking to you right now. I firmly believe that.
Exactly. It's the lifestyle before the carnivore diet, because
Correct.
you obviously still had some healing to do. Um,
Yes.
what was the survival odds, like 1 in a million, or did they even give you a
I
number?
was told that 1 in 3 million brainstem stroke people survive. 1 in 3 million brainstem stroke,
Wow.
right? Okay. So
Yeah.
these are the numbers, and I'm sure there's scientists out here who might have a different opinion, but this is what I've learned over 3.5 years, that 1 in 4, well, there's a stroke in America, never mind the rest of the world, a stroke in America every 4 minutes. So that means that we're 17 minutes into this so far. 4 people have already had a stroke, okay, in America.
Hmm.
1 in 4 of those
Yeah.
is a brainstem stroke, and that's the fatal stroke. So that means that a minute ago, somebody died from a brainstem stroke, and 16 minutes from now, somebody else will have died from a brainstem stroke, okay? Now, most of the
Hmm.
time, that's going to happen to somebody in their 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. And when somebody that old has a stroke, they usually don't come out of a hospital. They're usually on hospice. And I'm sure there are people watching this right now. They're probably nodding, thinking of their grandma, their grandpa, somebody that was a senior who had this stroke. Physically, their bodies can't really take that kind of, I guess, trauma to the brain, anyways. So I guess being 49 years old and being as healthy as I was, I overcame some pretty high odds.
Hey there, are you a professional driver who's interested in the carnivore way of eating? Are you tired of being bloated, overweight, dealing with type 2 diabetes, depression, tired of taking meds that only mask the symptoms instead of dealing with the root cause? Do you not find enough time in your working day, 14-hour, to work out? Tired of the fast food that's sold here at the truck stops, not knowing what's healthy to eat out here on the road? Love eating steak and bacon? Well, stay tuned, because you're going to like what I have to say. It doesn't matter whether you're an owner-operator, a company driver, driving local or across the country, barely home a handful of days a month like I am. We all have one thing in common at least. We all enjoy the camaraderie of the open road. I always get out of my truck and help spot someone backing up into that tight spot at the truck stop, or help you with your blind side maneuver to get back into the dock door. And I know you do the same for me. Shoot, I had to help this guy back up in the middle of this video. We watch each other's backs out here and take care of each other. We also take care of America, delivering goods and providing services that keep food on the tables of millions. But we do so at the detriment of our own health, whether it's being sedentary from driving, not getting enough exercise, smoking, drinking, or eating the garbage that's sold here at the truck stops. And beyond your family and friends who might be concerned for your health, nobody else cares about our health. But that's what me and my friend Greg are here for. We have it figured out. I, for example, lost 40 pounds this year, and it's only June. We aren't selling you anything, but we are trying to help you buy the right thing. Go to rvcarnivore/OTR for more information on the carnivore lifestyle. Please like this video, subscribe to both of our channels, follow us on both of our Instagrams, and feel free to email either of us at our emails here. Now, y'all drive safe out there, and remember to eat bacon and keep trucking.